miles and have an auto warranty about to expire or have no warranty at all, listen up. Car Shield has a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that's now available to the public. Save on out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. So please call Car Shield now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. 800-925-7584 for a free quote. This protection plan is at an all-time low in price. Drivers who activate the vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. So please call for your free quote, 800-925-7584, 800-925-7584. Hey, what do you have to lose? 800-925-7584.
As you know, my friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of your life. He didn't stop by simply creating the best pillow. Now Mike has done it again with his My Slippers, and the folks at My Pillow are having an early Christmas slipper sale. The original My Slippers regular price is $139.98, but for a very limited time, they're offering these slippers for just $39.98. They come in a variety of sizes and colors. Use a promo code ONFIRE at mypillow.com or call 1-800-645-1392. The My Slippers are designed to be worn indoor and out. They are made with My Pillow foam and impact gel to help prevent fatigue. Plus, they feature quality suede leather. Unlock this special offer and other savings by using the promo code ONFIRE at mypillow.com. Once again, that number is 800-645-1392, 800-645-1392, or you can go to mypillow.com, use a promo code ONFIRE, and get your special discount today.
Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. 4 years ago today, the State Department ended its internal probe into Hillary Clinton's email fiasco. 36 months after the saga began, investigators concluded that Mrs. Clinton did not deliberately mishandle classified information. Here is the story. In March 2015, the New York Times reported Hillary Clinton used a private email server to transmit correspondence while serving as Secretary of State under Barack Obama. By September, Mrs. Clinton admitted the existence of an independent network, but insisted the material was handled appropriately. She eventually submitted 55,000 pages to federal investigators. Before handing over the emails, Clinton's team intentionally deleted more than 30,000 messages. Hillary claims the documents were personal in nature. The FBI concluded that 110 emails did contain classified information. 7 were listed as top secret. On October 28, 2016, just 11 days before the presidential election, FBI Director James Comey confirmed the investigation into Mrs. Clinton remained open. On November 6, 2 days before the vote, Comey declared Hillary cleared of any wrongdoing. The State Department concluded its own investigation October 18, 2019. The 9-page report made the following conclusion, quote, while there were some instances of classified information being inappropriately introduced into an unclassified system, by and large, the individuals interviewed, including Secretary Clinton, were aware of security policies and did their best to implement them in their operations, unquote. And here's something else you might not know. The saga surrounding Hillary Clinton's private server continues to this day. Mrs. Clinton still blames the FBI for her 2016 defeat to Donald Trump. As Trump points out, the Clinton scandal is proof of corruption at the Department of Justice. Back after this. Everything is expensive these days, you know that. The government is printing trillions of dollars and consumer prices higher than ever. If the government continues its printing and spending, the dollar could continue its free fall and lose its coveted role as the world reserve currency. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But there are a few things you can do right now. American Hartford Gold can show you how to protect your money, your retirement, your hard-earned savings against inflation by helping you diversify a portion of your portfolio into physical gold and silver. Start with a short phone call, and they can have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your 401k or IRA. So please call or text them right now. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you. Call 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, that's 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. Congressman Jim Jordan failed to secure the Speaker's job for a second time today. Republican Congressman Mike Gallagher says quickly electing a new House Speaker is important for his party, the country, and the world.
It is a full-on geopolitical crisis internationally, and the American people expect us, the party that has traditionally been the strongest on national security, to step up and to be the adults in the room. And right now, we just have too many internal divisions, and it's getting in the way of sound, strong, conservative policy.
Congressman Gallagher made his comments to the Salem Radio Network. A surprisingly large group of 20 Republican lawmakers rejected Jordan's bid on Tuesday. Then 22 rejected it on Wednesday. President Biden says Israel will allow humanitarian assistance into Gaza from Egypt. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The president told Israeli officials in Tel Aviv that people in Gaza need food, water, medicine, and shelter. He said Israel agreed to allow the flow of humanitarian aid.
Based on the understanding that there will be inspections, and that the aid should go to civilians, not to Hamas.
He said if Hamas diverts or steals the assistance, they will have demonstrated once again that they have no concern for the welfare of the Palestinian people. Greg Clugston, Washington.
A U.S. defense official says 2 drones launched at a base hosting U.S. troops in western Iraq have been intercepted. Hours later, an Iranian-backed militia in Iraq announced it had launched another drone attack on a second base. No injuries have been reported in either incident. The salvos come at a time of increasing tension and fears of a broader regional conflict in the wake of the latest Hamas-Israel war. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 332 points. The Nasdaq dropped 219. More at townhall.com.
This decade may be the worst one yet to retire in. That's why you need the most current retirement information. For more than 30 years, Bob Carlson has been helping investors stay ahead of turbulent markets and money-grubbing politicians. Now, more than ever, you need to subscribe to Bob Carlson's Retirement Watch. Bob makes sure his Retirement Watch readers are getting independent advice on all aspects of retirement. It's advice you won't get anywhere else. When you subscribe to Retirement Watch, you'll get 12 months of the newsletter. You'll also get 5 model portfolios. Plus, you'll get immediate access to the Retirement Watch private website with tons of special reports. You'll also get an online spending calculator to help you deal with inflation. Plus, exclusive conference calls with Bob Carlson, answering your retirement questions live, all for as little as $49.95. Try it for 30 days, and if you're not satisfied, cancel and we'll refund your money. Sound fair? Sign up today at retirementelders.com. Retirementelders.com. That's retirementelders.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. A brief shower possible this evening, especially late evening for St. Louis. That moves through, then we're dry overnight with a low 55. Turning mostly cloudy Thursday and a high of 68. Couple sprinkles possible, but a low chance. Mostly just a cooler and cloudy day. And then Friday we'll break out into some sunshine, a high of 71 with sunny skies. That's the latest First Alert 4 forecast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
I've been talking about the great folks at Professional Irrigation Systems for a long time now, but did you know that they are now Pro Outdoor? Change in branding, reflecting a commitment to Pro Outdoor's innovation in the industry and expansion of services that they offer: lawn fertilization, landscape maintenance, outdoor lighting, and of course, irrigation. We've got a fantastic pro outdoor irrigation system. In fact, the service techs were just out at the house yesterday, do a little winterization. They are always prompt. They're always friendly. They're always extremely helpful. They always explain everything really well. So committed to customer service. Been using them for years, long before started advertising for them. Wanted to advertise for them because of such a good job that they do. Aside from the logo, nothing else has changed. Same team, same great people, trucks, equipment, same quality of service. To learn more about everything they've got, including fall specials, visit them online, prooutdoor.com, 636-565-0916. That's prooutdoor.com, prooutdoor.com.
This is what's happening.
Citizens of Israel, we are at war.
The largest attack on Israel in a half century.
Surely President Biden will also support Israel as long as it takes to destroy Hamas.
101.9 and 94.1.
The United States stands with the people of Israel.
News Talk STL. Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
The more you remove voting from Election Day, the more opportunity you're offering for people to commit fraud.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
I think the Democrats are so short-sighted in this tactic they have now. They just cheat at any cost to win elections.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you.
What are we doing wrong here?
As a former leader in the House, I think you can put your finger on it. It's called leadership. We don't have it.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps.
Kelly of Pennsylvania.
Former Speaker of the House, the Honorable John Boehner.
Boehner.
And it's 4:06, and welcome into the Wednesday, October 18th edition of the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show. My partner, Tim Jones, is out today, so it will be me and Joy Vasevich. Was that the proper English there? Was it you and I, and you or me?
We have to
Stell
say
used to
separately.
correct me when I would do that. He had a pet peeve about that.
Stell would do that?
Yes.
How dare you?
Yes.
I know, though, the secret is to say the sentences separately and see if they make sense. We don't have time for that.
Okay, well, Joey Vasevich, of course, on the Wheels of Steel, doing his thing, doing fine, I presume.
You know what? This is the best day ever because we get to do whatever we want without the speaker trying to make fun of us.
That is true. That is true. Before we dig into all of the big news today with Israel and the speaker vote, I got to give a shout out to my wife, Becky Arps, who is currently in New York City. Her sister and she both have a friend who works for the French consulate in New York City, and she is being knighted tonight in a ceremony. So Becky flew there to witness that live. I told her to take plenty of pictures, and hopefully we can get those on the website. So I'm very proud of her, and I was a little worried, I have to be honest with you, with everything with the terrorism and, you know, the world situation. Her flying to New York, a French consulate might be a target or something, but I told her be aware of your surroundings and have fun.
Is this a lady night or a man night?
It's her. I think it's a ladies' night because
you can't do a lady night, can you?
What do you mean?
I thought you said someone
yeah,
was being knighted.
Actually, I guess you can.
Sir,
mistress, or
mistress,
sir, mistress. But yeah, she's being knighted. She's an interpreter at the French consulate. Elodie is her name.
Madam, is that
yeah.
it? You know what? I think the armor will keep her safe. You don't have to worry about terrorists. She'll be fine.
I hope so. So, Becky, have fun. I know you're not listening right now, but have fun watching someone become a knight of the French Empire. I don't know if that's the technical name for it, but
I remember they have the sword and someone could lose an ear. So it's a very prickly situation.
Hopefully she gets
too close.
Maybe she can take some video.
I love that. Yeah.
As we said, that was opening clip, Joey. That was Mike Kelly. And he voted for former Speaker John Boehner, if my memory serves correct. I think he was 3 speakers ago. Now he is a marijuana lobbyist, among other things, making a ton of money. I played that clip because I think that shows just how bad it went today for Jim Jordan as he tries to attain the speakership. Yesterday, he lost support of 20 members of the caucus. Today, he lost 22 members. That is the wrong direction to be going. They will not have a House vote today. We will know tomorrow, will there be another House vote? Will Jim Jordan, will he keep his name in consideration for the House speakership? That is something that we don't know at the time. But, I hate to say I was right, Joey, but I will say I was right.
You were right.
I was always thinking it was pretty suspect, or it was going to be a long shot for Jim Jordan to become the speaker. Not that I have anything personally against him. I think he has done a great job. He is one of the founders of the Freedom Caucus. He has really spearheaded the investigations against Joe Biden and try to keep the government accountable. But I think there is so much division between all the members within the Republican caucus. A lot of the so-called moderates, or the regular Republicans, as they call them, they wanted blood. They felt that Scalise was slighted by Jim Jordan after the first vote. They still have a little salt in their wounds about 8 members of the caucus relieving Kevin McCarthy of the speakership. And so, as we said the other day, there is a lot of bad blood sometimes when it comes to politics, and it's hard for people to put those differences aside for the betterment of the party and the betterment of the country when people feel slighted in politics, and when they have their chance to take their shot to hurt you. That is something that happens. I said yesterday, one of the things, Joey, that I think that Jim Jordan and his allies made a mistake was pressuring some of these moderate members to vote for him. That's why he decided to go to take the vote instead of trying to gather 217 members privately behind closed doors. Then you go to the House floor. He thought he could pressure these members to vote on the House floor with the promise or the threat of being primaried. And that upset a lot of those members. You have to remember that there are 18 Republicans that are in districts that Joe Biden won. And as we all know, politics is about self-preservation. And if it's about reconciliation within your party and coalescing around one person, to elect them as speaker, or you having to identify yourself during election time as voting for Jim Jordan, who doesn't play well in your district. And that's why a lot of them could not support them. They didn't want to be, campaigning next year saying that they voted for Jim Jordan. And as I said, that's not a knock on him that he is a bad person or anything, but the Republican Party is a coalition of people that have shared interests in conservative values. But as we've seen in the caucus, and as we've seen in our Missouri House, in our Missouri legislature, Republicans control, but there are varying degrees of that conservatism pertaining to the voters that they have. And some of these people feel that they can't be as conservative as what some of the hardliners, so-called hardliners, or some of the more vocal members of the caucus, they feel that they can't do that. Joey, number 7, there is one person that has been in consideration for speaker. It's looking more and more likely that Jim Jordan will not get the votes. As I said, we will know later if he's going to try again tomorrow. But one state below us, this gentleman, he's been in leadership before. He's been an old hat. He is a former political consultant in Oklahoma who, after running many campaigns, decided to run for office himself. Here is Tom Cole.
I don't think anybody in here on any issue of any substance would have to guess where Jim Jordan is going to stand. He doesn't deceive. He doesn't dissemble. He simply tells you straight up, this is what I believe, this is why I think it's the right thing to do for the country, and that's what I'm going to try and accomplish, and I'm going to work with you in any way that I can to do it.
And that's Tom Cole being a team player. As I said, his name has been thrown around as a possible replacement speaker. What is looking like now that's going to happen is the gentleman, Patrick McHenry, who was the temporary speaker. He doesn't want the job, by the way. It looks like what is gathering momentum now is a resolution to give him speaker powers, but temporarily, and that seems to be where the momentum is heading right now. As I said, we don't know if Jim Jordan is going to take a shot again at running for the speaker, but he does not support McHenry as a temporary speaker.
90% of the conference is supporting us. To introduce a resolution to empower McHenry to be the Speaker pro tem on a permanent basis. Would you support that?
I don't think that's the right way to go. I think we should get a Republican speaker. I got 90% of the Republicans in the conference who supported me.
Would that help buy you more time?
No, I mean, I think we should get a Republican speaker. I've been very clear about that. I think that's what the conference is. That's what our rules suggest. So let's get a Republican speaker and get about the people's business.
I mean, it looks like that the consensus that it's going to be give McHenry more powers, and then beyond that, if there still can't be a consensus within the Republican Party, there's a lot of talk of moderates teaming with some Democrats and having a bipartisan quote unquote speaker. Of course. Something like that did happen. The Democrats, of course, are going to want something in return. And I just think going into, a political year where you are sharing power with the Democrats, even though you have the majority because you can't choose a leader, is just a terrible, terrible message to be sending before you go into elections. I hope that it doesn't come down to that. I can only imagine what all of you out there would be thinking and doing if those of you that worked hard on campaigns or vote, or those of you that listen to News Talk STL and all the great shows here and keep in touch with the news, watching cable, reading. You'd be very upset if you help get a Republican majority, no matter how slim it is, and these people have squandered it, and maybe even a position of putting the Democrats who spend money like sailors on leave, spending even more money, and also what type of effect can that have on the presidential elections? If Donald Trump is the nominee, and I have a poll here that shows that he is slightly behind Joe Biden by 4 points, but it's just an outlier, of course, from everything that we're seeing now. But what would happen if President Trump was to regain the presidency, but we lose the House and Democrats retain control of the Senate? All of we need to do to reverse Bidenomics and all the damage they've done in foreign policy, it'll be much harder to do that because President Trump will have a Democratic Congress. So elections have consequences, as Barack Obama once famously said, that elections, they start, of course, with the presidency, but they filter all the way down to county council races, even races for dog catcher. They're, of course, are nonpartisan, but the person at the top, the people that are leading the institutions that your particular party controls, if they're not doing a good job, then it affects everyone down the line. Joy, we got a great show today. We also have to talk later in the show about Israel, of course, and Hamas and the war in the Middle East. The president is currently in the Middle East visiting with the Israelis. He had a meeting planned with the Palestinian Authority president, but that was canceled after a rocket hit near a hospital in the West Bank. Reportedly, close to 500 people were killed. Hamas and the Arab world blamed Israel for intentionally targeting a hospital. They have said that Israel, the IDF, has said they did not cause this massacre, and they've shown proof showing that they have not done it. They have drone footage showing that when the weaponry that they're using creates much larger craters than what is shown in front of this hospital. Israel has also produced evidence of intercepted conversation between two militants talking about the missile just before it was fired. The intelligence reports that I'm hearing is that it is not Hamas that fired this rocket, that it was a rival terrorist group within the West Bank that fired the missile. And I tell you what, the narrative right now we're hearing is that this was a missile that they shot toward Israel. Something went wrong with it. It misfired or went off of its trajectory and hit near that hospital. These people, as we saw, who will kidnap and behead babies, are bloodthirsty savages who have an aim to wipe out the Jewish people and the Jewish nation, and they'll do anything to achieve that aim. And I would not be surprised if that missile was fired purposely at that hospital so they could have these mass casualties. They could have the images that we're watching on our television screen in order to inflame, the Arab world, and also to turn the world against Israel's actions in the West Bank. I would not be surprised if it was done on purpose. I would not be surprised that because Saudi Arabia and Israel was close to a peace deal, that Hamas, sponsored by Iran, decided to do this attack while they're getting close to a deal. I don't think there's any coincidence there. I don't even think there's any coincidence when it comes to this rocket attack as well. Got a good show, as I said, at 424 coming up. We're going to talk with Stuart Force. He's a parent of a West Point graduate named Taylor Force, who was murdered by a Palestinian terrorist in Tel Aviv. We'll talk to him. We'll get his story, and we'll get his thoughts on what we witnessed a couple of weekends ago by Hamas militants. At 5:07, we'll speak with Donna Jackson, Director of Membership Development for Project 21, my Project 21 colleague. We'll talk to her also about the Hamas atrocities and specifically BLM's response to them, which are absolutely sickening and are right there on par with Hamas and the squad and all of their reactions. Then we'll have open segments. Love to get your calls today. 314-912-1019. The president announced that we are sending $100 million to the Palestinians for humanitarian aid. How do you feel about that? Is that something we should do? Give us a call, 314-912-1019. We'll take your call at 4:45.
Follow Chris Arps on Twitter at Chris_Arps. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. A brief shower possible this evening, especially late evening for St. Louis. That moves through, then we're dry overnight with a low 55. Turning mostly cloudy Thursday and a high of 68. Couple sprinkles possible, but a low chance. Mostly just a cooler and cloudy day. And then Friday we'll break out into some sunshine, a high of 71 with sunny skies. That's the latest First Alert 4 forecast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
We are definitely rapidly approaching the season of giving. Are you making up your lists and checking them twice? Do you want to find a place to get something really nice for everyone on the good list? Newstedder's Fine Jewelers, your one-stop shop for all the special people in your life. Did you know that Newstedder's is celebrating 50 great years of offering honest jewelry solutions and all kinds of awesome products and service here in the St. Louis Metro? Yep, they're right here in the heart of St. Louis County, conveniently located at 2961 Daughtery Ferry Road. been to the store. Oh, it's so awesome. I love the watches they've got. Let me tell you everything that Richard Newstetter and the family have to offer to you. All jewelry repairs. If you got something that just needs fixing up, brushing up, cleaning up, or, you got a major repair, they can do it on premises. They do everything on premises. Richard is a master engraver. It's a lost art. He's one of the few master engravers left in the country. Take advantage of his awesome services. Jewelry appraisals. As I mentioned, they got awesome fine watches. They do repairs on those as well. Pearl and bead restringing, quality ring resizing, everything, and so much more. Been around since 1961, serving all of us in the greater St. Louis metro. Open weekdays, 10 a.m. to 5:30, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 3. Home of the Wow Diamond. In fact, that's their website. Newstetter's Fine Jewelers can always be found at wowdiamonds.com. That's wowdiamonds.com.
John Michael Montgomery. Live. The multiple Grammy, CMA, and ACM award winner. John Michael Montgomery with McBride and the Ride this Friday night at the Family Arena. Reserved seats are on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. John Michael Montgomery, live in concert.
Ruben Studdard and Clay Aiken. 20, the tour. Reunited 2 decades after their storied run on American Idol. Ruben and Clay. Friday, October 27th at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office, located at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster. Ruben Studdard and Clay Aiken.
Is your portfolio prepared for the biggest risks facing investors today? Hi, it's Tim Jones. High inflation and a rapidly changing economy may impact your investments. If you haven't made appropriate changes, your portfolio may not be positioned to address some of the biggest risks in today's economy. That means it's time to request your free portfolio review from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert, every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on News Talk STL 101.9. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create a portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free portfolio review, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com, 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Hey guys, Columbo here, reminding you that if you belong to an organization like a school or a church, or your kids are part of a group or a sports team that needs to raise money, there's no better way to do so than with a TJ's Pizza fundraiser. TJ's Pizza has been helping local organizations raise money for over 30 years to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. A local company helping local people, and there's lots of different ways TJ's can help you raise big money fast. Get started now at tjspizza.com.
I'm Susie Moore, and this is More to the Point.
This may come as a shock to some, but I was once a dumb college kid. I suspect we all were, even those of us who didn't formally attend college. I believed things then, some passionately, that I no longer believe, or that I at least have the life experience to see through different eyes now. While I disagree with those who assign some sort of inherent wisdom to the young, the passion and idealism of youth are admirable, to a point, and then they just become silly, or worse, dangerous. A recent debate on social media has raged over whether college students who signed off on declarations or engaged in protests supporting Hamas and blaming Israel for the attacks of October 7th should be shunned by prospective employers because of their views. I'm about as devout a free speech adherent as you'll find, and I find the notion of cancel culture repugnant. But that doesn't mean I believe speech should be free of all consequence, or that I disagree with employers steering clear of would-be applicants who vocally side with terrorists. College students may be young, but they ought to, by that age, understand the difference between right and wrong and good and evil. In short, my ability to cut dumb college kids slack doesn't extend to those who defend rape, murder, hostage-taking, and eradicating Jews or the state of Israel.
Susie Moore is Deputy Managing Editor for RedState.com. For more to the point and everything Susie Moore, log on to RedState.com. Follow Susie on Twitter at SmoozyQ and keep listening to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. This hour of Jones and Arps is brought to you by Stifel. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL.
Today, I'm also announcing $100 million in new U.S. funding for humanitarian assistance in both Gaza and the West Bank. This money will support more than 1 million displaced and conflict-affected Palestinians, including emergency needs in Gaza.
Welcome back to the Tim Jones and Chris Arps show. That is President Biden announcing $100 million for the Palestinians in humanitarian aid. As I said before we went on break, I'd love to get your thoughts on that at 314-912-1019. Would like to get your thoughts after our next guest. Very honored and looking forward to speaking with him. He is Stuart Force. He is the parent of West Point graduate Taylor Force, who was murdered by a Palestinian terrorist in Tel Aviv. Stuart, thank you so much for your time, and welcome to the Tim Jones and Chris Arps show.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you. Any chance to share Taylor with anybody that will listen to me is always a great day.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, first of all, for his service. And just a side note, my father-in-law is a West Point graduate, class of 1970.
That's the academies, all the academies produce some of the finest young men and women in America today, and it's you can always tell when you meet one that they're good citizens and patriots.
Speaking of that, before we get into the tragic story of your son's death, tell us who was Taylor Force.
Oh boy, did you say I had about 2 hours here? No. To sum it up, we are blessed that we got to have him in our family. He's, as I said, he's patriotic. He was a hard worker. He succeeded at everything he did, but he was very humble, and he was concerned with the people around him. As he enjoyed life and succeeded in life, he made sure that people that he knew, his very broad circle of friends, had the same opportunities to succeed and enjoy life that he did. Just the specifics, he did like Eagle Scout, third generation, National Honor Society president, expert skier, West Point grad. Just things that he was focused on and worked hard to achieve. That was Taylor in a nutshell.
Stuart, we've all witnessed the horrific incident in the West Bank where Hamas militants came and beheaded children and killed innocent civilians. Tell us what happened to Taylor.
We were living in Charleston, South Carolina at the time, and we had retired early when Taylor, after he had graduated from West Point, started his active duty career as a field artillery officer. His unit received orders to go to Iraq, and we knew his deployment would be about a year. So my wife and I retired a little bit early, so we would be home in case the dreaded phone call or Army staff car pulled up to our driveway with bad news. And so he completed his 13-month tour in Iraq and then a 9.5-month tour in Afghanistan. He finished both of those and finished his 5-year commitment to the Army. And my wife and I and our daughter, Kristen, breathed huge sighs of relief that the staff car and the phone call never showed up. He then applied after he finished his Army commitment. He went to applied at grad schools, and he ended up at Vanderbilt University in their MBA program. And his first year and spring break, one of his professors took a yearly group of 30 students to Israel to experience the entrepreneurial culture in Israel, that it's the startup, referred to as the startup nation. He was there in March, on March 8th of 2016, with his classmates. And I was at a local golf course, and I got a phone call as I was heading to my car. And I answered the phone, and it was the chaplain at Vanderbilt University saying that there had been a terror attack in Israel and south of Tel Aviv on the boardwalk, and that there were 11 stabbings by a 22-year-old Palestinian, and that Taylor was one of the victims. And then she said that she was sorry that Taylor did not make it. About that time, I finally realized what she meant.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris, I asked her two questions that most people would ask. Are you sure it was Taylor? And she said, yes, the professor confirmed it. And I said, did you call home and talk to my wife? And she said, no, you were the emergency contact. And of course, that was Taylor, very responsible, knowing that he should put down my number if there should be a problem. So I said, don't call home. I'll rush home and tell my wife. And that's how we found out that he'd been walking down the boardwalk and just out of the blue had been stabbed to death by the Palestinian.
Speaking with Stuart Force, parent of West Point graduate Taylor Force, who you just heard was murdered by a Palestinian terrorist in Tel Aviv. Stuart, has anyone ever been held responsible for this crime?
The closest person to be held responsible was actually the taxi driver that smuggled the terrorist across into Israel. The terrorist that killed Taylor was chased after by people that were on the boardwalk and surrounded, and he was killed by the Israeli security, the police there on the boardwalk. They did send the terrorist, the taxi driver that smuggled him, sent him to prison for a period of, I think, 4 years. He claimed that he didn't know why this terrorist wanted to get into Israel. He claimed ignorance, but that is about the only one that's been held to account for taking Taylor from us.
Stuart, before we brought you in, you heard the clip of President Biden there saying that he was going to give $100 million to Palestinians for humanitarian aid. We've had a controversy recently about the $6 billion that was given to Iran. Many believe that money is going to be used for terrorism. Tell us about the Taylor Force Act that you've been spearheading.
The Taylor Force Act basically withholds. Let me back up. At the time of that we lost Taylor, we found out that the Palestinian Authority had a policy in effect called referred to as pay for slay. When a Palestinian commits a crime against an Israeli or a visiting guest in Israel, an innocent civilian, if there's an injury or a death, the terrorist is paid a monthly stipend of thousands of dollars for life for committing the crime. Actually, the Palestinians refer to them as martyrs. So far removed from the truth, but the U.S. at the time was rendering financial assistance to the Palestinian Authority in the amount of $200 to $300 million a year, which coincidentally was about the amount of money that they spent to reimburse terrorists that committed these criminal acts. Taylor Force Act, the purpose was to withhold U.S. financial aid to the Palestinians until they stopped pay for slave policy and removed pay for slave policy from their written constitution. And so under President Trump, this was the act was passed in 2018. and became U.S. law in March 23rd of that year. And President Trump signed it into law, and the money was withheld from that point on. And we thought that would be an incentive to the Palestinians to change their behavior and perhaps start the program, but that had actually no effect. In fact, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas was quoted several times that he would, with the last dollar that he had, he would be paying terrorists under the Pay for Slave program. And so one of the first acts that President Biden and his administration performed was to resume payments to various organizations, including the Palestinian Authority. That, as you said, money can go once it leaves our treasury. Taxpayer dollars leave our treasury. There's really no way to account for it. So when you mentioned that President Biden had authorized $100 million for humanitarian aid, I had to chuckle a little bit.
Speaking with Stuart Force, parent of West Point graduate Taylor Force, who was murdered by a Palestinian terrorist in Tel Aviv. Stuart has been spearheading the Taylor Force Act, which is to stop American funds going to pay for terrorism in the Palestinian territories. Stuart, last question I have for you. How has this whole situation with your son changed your life? We see a lot of times when people that live quiet, normal lives and don't want to be in the spotlight, something terrible happens. They find their inner activists and really get energized. Is that what happened to you?
It's funny, like you said. I fit the my wife and I fit the definition that you just mentioned. We led quiet, unassuming lives. We had always searched for some way to contribute. I mean, we made the usual donations to United Way and Tunnels to Towers, things like that. But to actually put ourselves out there, we just had never done that. When we were asked by Senator Graham, who spearheaded the legislation in the Senate, if we wanted to be a part of the effort to end the U.S. transfer of money, we said yes. We didn't realize what that entailed. We thought that we'd just show up at a press conference and mumble a few words and step back into the shadows. We found out very quickly that we were the face of the legislation, and the people that wanted to know more about Taylor, of course, would ask us to speak with them or say a few words about our efforts with the act. So we got involved so quickly, Chris, that it was a focus. We could very easily, if this had not come about, had just retreated to the home, shut the doors, pulled down the blinds, and just grieved. This was actually an opportunity for us to try to contribute. Whoever expected it to be on a national or international scale like this, but we are so grateful to all the people that we met and that gave us the emotional support and strength to carry on. But it was quite a process.
Stuart, is there a website where folks can get more information about the Taylor Force Act? Is there a foundation that's for your son? Where can people can donate? How can people learn more and help out?
Probably the easiest way. We had established a very small foundation initially called a Force for Good Foundation, but its main focus was to direct people, friends of Taylor's, people that were upset about what happened, and they wanted to contribute. It was just a gathering place that if they wanted to send some money to, they didn't know where to send a donation. So it was just basically a small operation that we directed money to, say things Taylor would have supported: Tunnels to Tower, USO, Wounded Warrior Project, things like that. But for people that really want to know about the Taylor Force Act, they can easily find on Google or any of the search engines. It's find out a little bit more about Taylor and the ongoing efforts to rein in the Biden administration and stop the money that goes to fund terror. It's so unnecessary.
Stuart, again, our sincerest condolences to you on your loss. We thank you for your son, the sacrifice that he gave to his country. He sounded like he was a wonderful young man, and congratulate you on all the wonderful work you're doing to keep his memory alive and to stop us sending money over to terrorist organizations so other families don't have to go through what you did. Appreciate so much for your time, and hope we can hear from you again and get an update on the Taylor Force Act.
I hope that the next time we speak, I can say that we've been successful, but it'll be an ongoing project. As we told Senator Graham, it's our mission.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time, Stuart, and have a great weekend, sir.
Great. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
Thank you. Boy, that was a tough interview to get through for me personally, asking the questions, and also him, because, he almost had to relive that situation of getting that call that all parents who have a child or a relative in the military never wants to receive. And he received that call, and like many people, when they have a tragedy happen to them, they try to turn it for good. And I don't think we need to be sending money over to Palestine right now, or find some way that we know that Hamas is not going to steal it and sell it on the black market, or that money's going to go for more arms. And as I said, we've got an open segment coming up. We'd love to hear your thoughts. 314-912-1019. Should we be sending $100 million to the Palestinians? You've seen the pictures on the TV. The people are hurting. There's no electricity. There's no water. And I'd love to get your thoughts too. We have 2 aircraft carriers that are in the region, and the president is possibly mobilizing 2,000 troops to be support possibly for Israel's invasion, not on the ground with them, but logistical support. What do you think about that? 314-912-1019. Give us a call. You're listening to the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. A brief shower possible this evening, especially late evening for St. Louis. That moves through, then we're dry overnight with a low 55. Turning mostly cloudy Thursday and a high of 68. Couple sprinkles possible, but a low chance. Mostly just a cooler and cloudy day. And then Friday we'll break out into some sunshine, a high of 71 with sunny skies. That's the latest First Alert 4 forecast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic right and duty.
The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion.
Joey, I told you all yesterday how I lost my wallet over the weekend and had to go through the painful process of replacing my driver's license, my credit cards, all of that. Well, my new wallet came in today from Amazon, and I was able to slide in my brand new Royal Bank of Missouri debit cards for my business and personal life. As I said, the credit cards, they're telling me these things are going to be coming in 3 to 6 days. The debit cards I got the next day. That's the great service that you get at a locally owned and operated independent community bank. Royal banks have been providing unparalleled service to St. Louis residents since 1964. Royal Banks, Missouri, they pride themselves on having the highest financial ratings in St. Louis for stability and strength. Royal has convenient banking locations throughout St. Louis, including locations in Hannibal, Jerseyville, Granite City, and 2 locations in St. Charles. They also have 200 ATMs across the Midwest, so you can easily access your accounts no matter where you are. Visit Royal online at royalbanksmo.com to learn more about their services and to find a location near you. Royal Banks of Missouri, the community bank that is in your community.
A lot of schools talk about training the cybersecurity workforce of the future, but do they really deliver? My Computer Career has been supplying the IT workforce with thousands of skilled, certified pros for 15 years. Train with the experts in support, networking, or cybersecurity and start your career in months, not years. Upskill even faster. On campus or live online, qualified students may get financial aid, including the GI Bill. My Computer Career. Accredited, acclaimed, effective. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The ultimate tribute to the Beatles brings you their best show ever. The Fab Four live. The Fab Four performs the Beatles' Rubber Soul in its entirety, plus all the Beatles' greatest hits. Don't miss the show for the whole family. Witness the best Beatles show in the world. This Saturday night, the Family Arena. Reserve seats on sale now at Ticketmaster.
His legendary soulful voice is unmistakable. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Al Green returns to the concert stage. A night of iconic hits from the 13-time Grammy Award winner Al Green with special guest Betty LaVette. Saturday, November 25th at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena and Ticketmaster.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents, and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. The city was booming. Unfortunately, St. Louis City streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline. St. Louis City Republicans believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. Learn more at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican Pat Curtis, Farber Treasurer.
Is your portfolio prepared for the biggest risks facing investors today? Hi, it's Tim Jones. High inflation and a rapidly changing economy may impact your investments. If you haven't made appropriate changes, your portfolio may not be positioned to address some of the biggest risks in today's economy. That means it's time to request your free portfolio review from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert, every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on News Talk STL 101.9. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create a portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free portfolio review, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com, 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
On the next,
Larry Connors, USA.
When is the Biden White House going to admit Iran is behind the Hamas attack? My answer, do not hold your breath.
Larry Connors, USA.
Now, weeknights 6 until 8.
On News Talk STL. This hour of Jones and Arps is brought to you by Stifel. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
dropping truth bombs and making you think. It's the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show.
That was within an hour or two of the bombing. Before we knew anything, that statement was made. Now, you'd think that'd come from a member of Hamas, but it came from a member of our Congress. If that member of Congress wants to take responsibility for the protests that we now see in Beirut, good on you. In Jordan, in Oman, and in Egypt, this sort of leadership or failure of leadership has no place on Capitol Hill.
454 on the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show. That is Congressman Tom Tillis, Republican from North Carolina, condemning Representative Tlaib's support of Palestine on social media, which he should. You know, we talked earlier at the beginning of the show, Joey, about how there's a big controversy about who bombed the Baptist hospital in Lebanon. Israel says they had nothing to do with it. The Arabs are saying that the Jewish state did do the bomb. Because of that, the Arab world is on fire. The U.S. Embassy in Beirut has been set on fire, literally. The U.S. consulate in Turkey has been sieged with the fireworks and Molotov cocktails last night. Protests have erupted in embassies in Beirut, Baghdad, Buenos Aires. It's getting bad out there. Let's see what Gene has to think. Gene, you want to send $100 million to the Palestinians? They are suffering.
Hey, Chris, thanks for taking my call. Give Becky my best.
My pleasure. I will, sir.
Thank you. No, I mean, this feckless excuse that we've got for president between him and President Barry Obama, rather, they really ought to be brought up on charges for treason for aid and comfort to the enemy. I mean, that's what these people are. I don't see how we can have one ally in the entire world left when we're paying for people to bring death and destruction to our allies.
Gene, let me play devil's
advocate.
Gene, let me play devil's advocate here.
Sure.
The $100 million is a lot of money, as our prior guest said. A lot of that money goes to fund terrorist activities. Joe Biden and his ilk will try to make the argument that sending that money over there sends goodwill, that we are not taking sides between Hamas and Israel, and that we actually do want to help. We want Hamas wiped out, but we want to help the people. Here's money for that. Does that buy us any goodwill, do you think?
Absolutely not. And I do not understand why. I'm not Jewish, just for the record.
Mm-hmm.
I do not understand how any Jewish person can continue to vote blindly for the Democrats when they're voting for the destruction of their homeland. It's just beyond the pale, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I'm a lack of words. And to use your words, it's like the problem is leadership, and we don't have any.
Those are that's a good way to end our conversation there, Gene. Thank you so much, sir.
Hey, take care. God bless you, Chris.
God bless you. Boy, it feels good to hear your own words repeated like that. Somebody's actually listening to the show, Joy. Fantastic. When we come back, 507, we'll speak with Donna Jackson. She's Director of Membership Development for the Project 21. We'll talk to her about companies aligned with BLM and their response to the Hamas atrocities. And we'll take your calls afterwards, 314-912-1019. You're listening to the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show on 1019. 94.1 News Talk STL.
Getting a new floor for your home can be intimidating and a little scary, but that's not the case when you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. Katie here, and my mom and dad used Michael's and they had a great experience. They've been a locally owned and operated family business for more than 30 years. You want variety? Michael's has carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, and many other options. Shop in-store at one of their 3 locations in Creve Coeur, Dardine Prairie, or St. Peters. Check out everything that Michaels has to offer at igotfloored.com.
This is Christina Straight with Straight Realty reminding you why pay more than 4. In 2003, we had a dream to start a real estate company that would revolutionize the real estate market. Now, 20 years later, after navigating through the many markets' ups and downs, we know exactly how to help you in this challenging time. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Don't give away your hard-earned equity. Give us a call today, 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than 4?
Straight Realty is a licensed